Okay, honestly, I don't even know why I'm wasting my time doing a review for this movie. If you can't tell that this movie's a pile of garbage from the trailer, then I don't know what to tell you. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So, yeah. With Valentine's Day coming, I thought, okay, let's watch a horror movie, a Valentine's Day horror movie. I saw the trailer for this probably a month ago, and I laughed. I thought, God, this movie looks fucking terrible. I can't believe the trailer looks this bad. What's the movie going to be like? You know what I mean? But anyways, I sat down and watched it. It's called Cupid, and I'll be honest, there are not a lot of good Valentine's Day horror movies. I mean, most notably, the best one would probably be My Bloody Valentine. I searched through some of the movies, that are considered Valentine's Day movies, and I didn't really see hardly any that I thought were any good. But so I mean, we're kind of slim picking here, right? So I thought I'd definitely give this one a watch and just see maybe it'll be good. But no, it's not. It honestly looks like it was made on a budget of $30. It's mind-boggling why they put these movies out. Anyways, it's written and directed by Scott Jeffrey. Again, I have to ask this question. I'm sure he put his heart and soul into this movie. I'm hoping, considering his name's on it. But why make this fucking movie? Why? It's not original. It's nothing new. And again, this movie's not going to garner a lot of good reviews. I don't understand why they would make this movie knowing that it's going to get fucking, you're going to have assholes like me come along and talk shit about it. I don't get it. I mean, this movie's not without some good scenes, which I'll talk about shortly, but I don't know, man. Again, I'm going to say make it a short film. Make a short film. This movie's an hour and 27 minutes long. God, honestly, this movie could have been 15 minutes. A 15-minute short film. And actually, Shudder now is starting to show short films. I mean, put it on Shudder. Shop it around at the film festivals. You know what I mean? Get a budget and maybe make something bigger and cooler and a little better acted. I mean, it's like, God damn, man. But you make us sit through this shit for an hour and a half, and I feel obligated to say something about it. But anyways, very quickly, it stars Georgina Jane. She plays Faye. She's kind of like the main character. And then Bo Teo, I think that's how you say his name. He's the Cupid creature. And then Shannon T. Cohen as Elise. She is the kind of like the bully of Faye, I guess. She's kind of the bitch. And I will say, she's a pretty good actor. I mean, there were a few times in this movie where I wanted to reach for that screen and slap this bitch in the face. Do you know what I mean? Just because she's such a bitch. Not Sarah as a person. I mean, Elise, the character. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's what you want in a movie, right? And she pulled it off. And then Michael Ausu, I hope that's how you say his name, is Duncan Jones. He plays Mr. Jones, the teacher. And the rest of the acting is not overly good in this movie, which is sad, really. It has its moments, but for the most part, it looks like they're just pumping out the lines. Like, you know what I mean? They're either reading cue cards sometimes, and I swear to God, this movie. I mean, I'm going to just say and bet that it was probably 95% shot in one take. Like, you know what I mean? Like one takes, no second or third takes. Because there were scenes in this where I know they screwed shit up and they just went with it anyways. And obviously that's lack of budget, man. I'm going to guess. I don't even need to know what the budget is to say that it didn't fucking have one. So, but in a nutshell, Faye has a crush on Mr. Jones, her high school teacher. She is supposedly a practicing witch, or at least she thinks she is. So she's casting all these love spells on Mr. Jones. And then at one point during class, Elise steals Mr. Jones' phone, and then they play a joke on Faye as if it's Mr. Jones texting her saying, send me some pictures, and I'm going to be, marking tests tomorrow after school. Why don't you come see me? And make a move and blah, blah, blah. So she falls for it. Okay. And then they capture this on camera and they post it online or in the school, and they have pictures all up of her in her bra sending pictures. So basically what it is, it's like a different telling of the movie Carrie, is what it is, because she gets bullied and just like horribly treated by these girls, to, you know, embarrassed so badly that she wants to seek revenge. So as they, you know, Carrie does in the movie, she has these powers where she can just look after herself and she fucking, you know, destroys everybody. But Faye doesn't have that option, so she turns to her book of magic, and then she she conjures up Death, okay, and then Death sends her Cupid, the destroyer of love, they call him, okay, because it's Valentine's Day, and I'm like, okay, whatever, it's Cupid, it has to be Cupid. Valentine's Day horror movie, right? Anyways, so Cupid comes, and I mean, basically, I mean, if you can't figure it out, it's Cupid chasing around all these people, trying to kill them, and them trying to survive, and then them figuring out how to get rid of this Cupid creature. The end. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, there is absolutely nothing new here. I could sit here honestly for 2 hours and rip this movie apart as to how bad it was, but it did have some good in it. Okay, the opening scene in this movie, where they give you the background story of this Cupid creature, and how instead of being, you know, this guy that comes and shoots you with his arrows and makes people fall in love, they actually give a story of, you know, why he's summoned by Death to come and kill people on Valentine's Day. And it was animated in this book, pretty cool. I thought it looked, you know, nice. I thought, oh, fuck, when I saw this opening scene, I thought, Jesus, here I am thinking this movie's going to be a pile of shit. And I mean, the opening animation I thought was pretty good, but then the actual story started, and then I was like, no, forget it. This movie's a pile of shit. I mean, the first opening act in this scene after that opening 5-minute kind of animated monologue, and I'm thinking, nope, this is terrible. This is, I mean, it's practical effects, but I mean, it's God, honestly, it's high school practical effects. I mean, I appreciate it, and you know, this movie doesn't take itself seriously, which might help it a bit. And the practical in it, I appreciate that. Now, there is CGI in this movie, and when it's used, it is fucking terrible. So bad so that I could probably do a better job on this laptop, on my Sony Vegas Pro. I could probably do better CGI and green screen. There's a scene where this Cupid creature is flying, and if it doesn't make you laugh out loud, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, it is brutal. And again, I understand, you know, this movie's probably got a $30 budget, and it's uncorked. That's who's distributing. So anytime you see that fucking logo come up at the beginning of the movie, I mean, you know you're in for something fucking terrible. I mean, they're even worse than Asylum sometimes. I did a review on the movie Clown for Asylum, but you know what? I was told, like, you know, after I ripped that movie and said how shitty Asylum is and how the fuck did they stay in business, and the same can be said for Uncorked. But you know what? I had a lot of you comment and message me and stuff and say, there's a lot of people that like this style of movie. And hey, to each their own. If you like this, you know, I like low budget. I love low budget. I'm like the biggest defender of it to a point. I mean, there's just some stuff that you can't defend. And I like a good story. And this is just nothing new, and it's not very well acted, and it's boring. You know what's going to happen in this movie before it even fucking happens. And I don't like that. You know, I like movies that keeps you guessing. Like, I mean, just because it's low budget doesn't have to mean it's shit or terribly told. There's no excuse for that. It's just lazy writing, and it's lazy directing, and it just makes, you know, the actors are lazy. It's just, everything's lazy, and it comes across in the movie, and it happens all the time. And you know what? If you're going to make us sit through this movie for an hour and a half, or God forbid, some of these guys like Lore that make us sit through a 2-hour fucking movie, I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to stand for this shit. I've seen good low-budget horror movies. So when I see piles of garbage like this, I'm going to fucking cut them up because they deserve to be cut up. I mean, this is not a full-length feature movie. It's a fucking 15-minute short film at best. Why did you not do that? I mean, again, if you have, and I don't want to hear, because I hear it, honestly, and I'm not trying to sound like a dink, I get a lot of directors messaging me either privately or emailing me saying, oh, small budget, you know, studio step, then don't make the fucking movie. I don't care. It's an excuse. And you know what I mean? And I get it. but I'm not accepting it because no one's forcing you to make the fucking movie. Nobody is. Make a short film and shop it around. It happens all the time and it works. And I don't buy it when people say, oh, lack of budget or the camera people weren't cooperating or we had to rewrite stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh. You know, once in a while it might be acceptable, but I don't know. Sometimes the excuses are just outrageous. Like if I was to make a movie and I knew it was going to be a pile of shit, I would hold off. I would hold off and try and, you know, garner up some more money. Or like I fucking preach, I would just make it a short film and shop it around. I don't understand why they do this, because people aren't going to say good things about this movie. So I don't know. It doesn't take itself seriously though, so that helps it. And there are some scenes with some gore in it. There's most notably, I think it's at like the hour or 1 hour and 13-minute mark, somewhere around there. There's a scene where they have to cut this kid's arm off. And okay, before this scene, he gets shot in the arm with an arrow. And this is just the practical effects and how bad they look and what I'm talking about. The arrow gets shot through his arm and they do a fucking close-up on it, okay? And the arrow is offset. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, why wouldn't you take the time for the 5 seconds it is to straighten that arrow out so it doesn't look like it's, you know, bought at the IT store? It's like, come on, guys. Like, that's what I'm talking about, lazy filmmaking, and it's brutal. And I guarantee this movie, I guarantee there probably wasn't more than half a dozen second takes in this movie. It was probably all first takes, whether it worked or not. I mean, there's scenes in this movie where the Cupid creature's shooting his bow and arrow, and you can see the fucking arrow fall off. Like, it doesn't even shoot out. It just kind of wobbles over. And I'm like, you got to be joking. Like, there's no way they cut that or edited that scene in it. Why wouldn't they shoot it again? You know what I mean? But anyways, there is one scene in here where it's quite gory, but even there, they make it fucking look stupid. There's a scene where they have to cut that kid's arm off that has that bow and arrow in, so they got him in a vise, and they're sawing away, and there's blood flying everywhere, and it's like, it's a great scene, but they're even lazy when they do that, because the blood that's flying onto people, it honestly looks, I mean, this is probably how they did it, is they just had like an air pump or a sprayer, and we're just shooting people because the blood comes in lines. Like, come on, guys, put your fucking, your hand over the nozzle a little bit so it kind of disperses a little bit. Like, it literally looks like it was shot out of a hose. Mind you, there's tons of blood, I'll give them that much. But I mean, you're telling me you couldn't disperse it so it sprayed a bit more? It's like, it's just lazy, man. Absolutely lazy. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say about this movie. It's called Cupid. I mean, just go watch the trailer. You know what I mean? Before you even sit down and watch this movie, if you think I'm over-exaggerating, watch the trailer. Watch the trailer and tell me I'm being too hard on this movie or making up. And yes, I know there's an audience for it, and that's cool, but I am not part of that audience. I sit through this stuff so I can tell you guys about it, but it just pisses me off because it's just fucking lazy. And movies like this really don't need to be made. And there is a ton. I'll tell you something. As much as I love Tubby TV, go on that website, and I'm telling you, like half of those horror movies are on there are this style of movie. So there must be an audience. People are watching it, and all the more power to them. I'm just not part of that audience. I fucking hate these kind of movies because it's just lazy, and there's no need for it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You want to practice your skill of directing and editing and stuff, and do it in a short film then. Take your minuscule zero budget and make a short film and shop it around. So anyways, I'm done. Movie's called Cupid. Go watch it. It's Valentine's Day. If you and your significant other want a good laugh on Valentine's Day, check this movie out. Who knows, you might like it. You might be the people in that audience that like these style of movies. So anyways, if you have seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't, go watch it. Come back and then let me know what you think. And yeah, guys, as always, stay scared.